It was bound to happen. Not everybody's going to be happy after all. Matt Moore wrote something on Twitter today after being let go yesterday, per reports from Football Scoop. And a lot of people think it's a shot at Richrod.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. We are live. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host, and this is another episode of Locked On West Virginia. Thank you for being here. Brought to you by Game Time, guys. Download the app, Game Time. Create an account. Use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Well, like I said, it was bound to happen. People were going to be upset when they get let go. I don't know how to interpret this 100%, but I have an idea how a lot of people have. So let's just pull it up. I'll share a screen here. Matt Moore posting this, struggling to find the words. This is on X, by the way, for those listening on podcast form. Struggling to find the words to express my gratitude to all of the guys I had the pleasure to coach here at West Virginia. Thank you for always being the same guy and coming to work every day. 6 years and 3 freshman All-Americans, 2 top round draft picks, 2 on the way, 2 All-Americans and multiple all-conference players. I would call that a hard edge. Love you guys. So a lot of people are kind of looking into this and saying, you know, Matt Moore took a shot at Richrod. Matt Moore is upset over being fired, so he decided to take a shot at hard edge culture or whatever. There are also those that say, well, he's defending his players because every time somebody goes in the portal, you see burner accounts and even some real people putting soft edge underneath there. Huddy Tuddy did. I seen it from Huddy Tuddy. I seen, a few players the last couple of days dealing with people that have posted those things underneath their profile. And it's kind of crazy, right? TJ Jackson's another one. So I think I understand both sides of this. I will say, knowing Coach Moore, and look, he's being let go here. So let's not sit here and act like, you know, he's happy over this. I'm sure he probably wanted this job, guys. Like, it would have been a great job for him, right? So I think people are questioning this culture of this football team. They're saying it needs to be replaced. It needs to have more hard edge to it. The Neil Brown edge was soft and this and that. Well, that included him, right? And so I think it would be natural for somebody to be like, hey, hold on a second. That means me. And now I'm not being kept, so I for sure know he doesn't think I'm hard-edged or whatever. It's kind of like questioning your manhood, right? Nobody likes to have their manhood questioned. So that's kind of where this is at. I wanted to address it because personally, I feel like, okay, I can understand why people would interpret it as kind of a slight at Richrod, but I think it's more of him saying, look, we may not have a hard edge slogan. We may not have been the most physical team all the time, but he's saying, look what we accomplished. We can be proud of that. It doesn't mean we were soft either. And I think that's more along the lines of what he's actually saying here. It's not a shot at Richrod like I've seen so many say, or I've even had a few people say me are mad at Coach Moore now. So there's a lot going on with that, and I understand why. But I just wanted to get it out there in the open because I think Matt Moore did a really good job. I mean, look, he developed 2 of the best offensive linemen in the history of the school. Actually, if you want to put a list out there, it's Zach Frazier, number 1, Dan Moses, number 2, probably Wyatt Milam coming in at number 3, possibly. Who knows what his pro career is going to be like, but this guy went 3 years without allowing a sack or a pressure. Wyatt Milam may push himself into the first round of the draft. So before it's said and done, he could be really accomplished. He is in a perfect sweep of all 5 publications for All-American status. So there's a lot to be proud of for what this offensive line room accomplished, for what this coaching staff accomplished on an individual level. As a team, I think it's funny. Had we had Richrod's offense and personality with this offensive line the last couple of years, I think they could have done special things. I really do. The laid back demeanor of Neil Brown was just kind of oil and water. I had Eugene Napoleon on here a couple of days ago, and he said that he felt, he didn't. I don't think he was public about this, but at first internally, he felt like Garrett Green and Neil Brown were oil and water because Neil Brown is this very laid back kind of guy, or he's so intense that it makes him kind of almost stick in the mud-ish. And Garrett Green is this free spirit, free flowing, just kind of like let me be my best self on the field kind of player. And I think that's a great point, and Eugene Napoleon deserves credit for thinking of that because I never thought of it like that, but he's right. Neil Brown was really laid back. Garrett was not. Garrett was hard edge, right? Garrett would have fit in great with this culture that we're trying to flip. So there's a lot to talk about, I think, and it's going to be interesting over the next couple of days. Something I also want to clarify for some people is there, and I'm going to get into the portal here in the next segment, but I think what needs to be pointed out is the portal is closing, yes, here in a few days. And something that I don't know why, I guess because it was like it used to be or how it used to be. I used to think that the portal closed, and that means player movement also closed. But I found out today, and maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know why I didn't know this already, but player movement isn't going to stop here in a few days. So we're still going to, and tell me if I'm wrong down below because I haven't vetted this, but somebody I trust told me this earlier, and I don't know why I thought player movement stopped. I don't know why, but somebody said, no, actually the portal closes, but player movement still goes. So if that's the case, we really don't have a whole lot to be worried about, guys. Richrod and his staff will be getting put together over the next couple of days. They'll be working on bringing in a portal class. It may be January when we actually get them, but you can secure those deals now. That helps a lot, at least for me, in this timeline. So I think that's important to point out. I really do, because I was one of the people that was kind of saying, hey, look, I'm a little nervous about this. Yeah, bowl teams do get an extra week. I forgot to mention that too. Yeah, anybody that's in a bowl team gets an extra week. So that's also obviously to go into the portal. So that's cool too. So we'll see what happens here. I think Richrod guy, we'll be getting some stuff announced soon, because I think, we've lost a lot of good players to the portal that a lot of people wanted to keep. And I think the fan base as a whole is a little bit antsy right now, especially after Richrod's time on Talk or Sports Line today with Hoppy Kirchhoff. If you didn't see that or hear that, he said some things that some people were a little worried to hear, right? He said, I'm not going to overpay players. I'm not going to beg them to stay. Kind of, some people were saying he kind of sounded like Dabo Swinney, who has struggled to accept this portal era a little bit, a more old school guy, because that's just how these coaches are. They're a little more old school. I'm not saying Richrod isn't embracing the portal and all it is. I just hope that he's not going to be stubborn, because other teams will just outbid you. Like, there are certain players that if you want, you're going to have to pay more for. It's just the way of the world. Or otherwise, you're stuck with, maybe a little bit lesser talent, and then you're going to have to win with that. So I think that's something to keep in mind as well. Also, it sounds like he didn't beg anybody to stay, like I said, and that's why we've had all the people go to the portal today that we've had go in. Let's talk about our portal entries today, guys. A few players went in that I just wanted specifically, I don't think anybody expected to see go in the portal today. Let's talk about that up next on Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia, guys, is going to be brought to you by Rocket Money Podcast. Guys, did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? They definitely helped me. And I had a few subscriptions that I didn't realize I was still paying for. Netflix, Hulu, I even had Canva, all kinds of stuff. Rocket Money made it so easy to track them down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so that you can grow your savings, which everybody wants to do. It builds together everything, guys, in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and saved a total of 500 million, $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. For me, one of the best features is the subscription tracker. That's kind of a tongue twister. I've used it to cancel services I wasn't using anymore, and I've already saved a ton. Plus, their goals feature I've been able to automatically set aside for my future. No more stressing about budgeting every single month, guys. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/locked on today. That's rocketmoney.com/locked on. And of course, we can't forget about Game Time, guys. This episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you again by Game Time. Game Time picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Curation makes it easier to save in the app. As always, guys, use that 360-degree panoramic view in the seat before you buy. They have event cancellation, job loss protection, making it one of the more flexible customer service ticket policies in the entire country. Go take the guesswork out of buying tickets, guys. Download the app, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app and ask yourself this: what time is it? It's game time. We're back. This is Locked On West Virginia. Okay. Portal injuries today. Obviously, Huddy Tuddy is a big one, right? I don't think a lot of people expected Hudson Clement to go to the portal. Sounds like he wasn't begged to stay from what I was told. I think he got a fair offer. I just think that he's time, from what I was told from people I know in the locker room, let's just say, that he wants to try to capitalize off the momentum from the bowl game, where he caught 11 passes for 166 yards. And he looked really good in that game, right? Number one type receiver. So even though I don't think he is technically, and especially like a Penn State, let's say, I don't think he is a number one receiver. I think he's more of a number two guy, which maybe you could get paid well to be these days. Let's not trip. Like, you could be paid very well to be a number two receiver in this day and age. And unfortunately, we've seemingly lost Huddy Tuddy for the time being, right? Which sucks, because I think he was such a culturally, too, an important part of what we were doing here. So, I think we'll replace him, but it's just, you can't replace West Virginia kids too easily. That's the problem with it, in my opinion, because I just like having him on the roster. So we'll see what happens, guys. Jaheim has not entered the portal. I don't think he's going to go yet. If he's not going to go until the spring at least. So we'll see what happens there. If he does go in before then something happened. But I'm pretty sure he's going to stick around at least until the spring, just based on some conversations that I've had. Now, this is like, okay, it's like this. If I offered you an NIL deal and you said, well, holler at me in the spring, that would probably be like, make you think, well, I guess he's not leaving tomorrow. So that's kind of the situation. If you can, I gave you all the hints I could there. So speaking of which, I'm working on an NIL deal with Hammond Russell right now, and we should be working out a way to schedule that sometime in the next week or so. I loved the tweet that he put out about just, embracing this culture and everything. I think that's great. And I think that positivity is needed right now. And we need guys like Hammond Russell in the locker room. So I wanted to reward him for that. So we'll have him on pretty soon. Been trying to get a hold of Xavier Bosley today as well. He hasn't responded yet, but I do talk to him quite often. We'll see if we can get him too. But yeah, I just want to help these guys out. I've got some people that want to back me up and help me do that. And if I can help the team, we're going to do it, guys. So one thing I wanted to do really quick as well. Should I do it this segment or next, though? We'll try it here. We'll try some of it now. I'm going to try and make some predictions on who I think Richrod could hire as far as staff goes. I think there's a few obvious choices on the list, obviously, and then there are a few that could go in a bunch of directions. So I'll give you who I want and then who I think he may hire. So number one, let's go with quarterbacks. I think obviously, Trickett makes a lot of sense here, either Clint or Travis. And then obviously Pat White is the name everybody wants. I think it's going to be Travis because he's been coaching well, even though he was kind of let go at Coastal this year. We'll see what happens there. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the guy named, or Clint or Pat White. I think you can't go wrong with either. They're all pretty good coaches. I've been told from the beginning that McDowell, the running backs coach at Jack State, was supposed to be coming. Chad Scott's exit tells you pretty much everything you need to know about that. Other people that he has been in contact with there, probably, I think, what is it, Dews, who is in the NFL, and some others. So there are a lot of other candidates. I think Noel Devine's a name that people like at the running back spot. Obviously, Blaine Stewart's probably going to be at tight ends. And then you get to what I think would be the biggest hire outside of Jeremiah Johnson, and that's Garrett Justice, guys. I think he's at SMU. He's in the playoff right now, and I would be shocked if he didn't at least have a good shot to make it over here for more money. He's a guy you could really, really expect to whip this offensive line into shape. And I would love to see it. He would be an absolute slam dunk hire at this point in time. You're talking about a guy who's coaching the O-line on an active college football playoff team. That's pretty damn good. You can't get much better than that, right? So let's hope that he comes along. Rich Trickett is a guy that, for the offensive line spot as well, that I think would be obviously a great hire. And I just think at this point in time, Rick Trickett's 76. And I think I don't know this. Maybe he comes in and takes on the full role. And if he does, we'll be in good shape. But he looked old in 2007. He had white hair. So it's unbelievable that he is still coaching at the age that he's at. And I don't know him or talk to him. So maybe he's sharp as a tack. Maybe he sounds like Joe Biden. I don't know. So I'm just saying, like, I would, how much energy does he have? I mean, we see Donald Trump, right? I'm not political at all. I'm just saying from a physical standpoint that there's a guy about that age that gets around great, plays golf. So, I mean, certainly there are exceptions to it. So I guess Richrod would know that. But if he's ready to roll, then let's roll with him. I mean, we can't go wrong with Trickett either. Obviously, Jeremiah Johnson will probably be the DC. And then the hires on that side of the ball, I am still researching a little bit. By the way, I jumped into this, and I meant to, while we've got so many people in here, I want to shout out somebody. I almost forgot about this. A friend of mine had an uncle pass away today, and I told him I would shout him out. He is and was a big, huge West Virginia fan. And he passed away. So his name is David Young. He said that during the Miami upset in the 90s that we had, he was on the field on camera. You could see him jumping up and down, holding his arms up. Put a W in the chat. Put a W in the comment section, or a rest in peace, or just something for our Mountaineer brother that's passed away and moved on to be with the Lord, or however you think that happens. But I told this person I would shout out their uncle today, and I apologize for not doing it sooner. It's just that when you get in here and it's live, sometimes you forget. So hopefully he does, well with the news, and it's a tough situation, but wishing David Young and his family the best. So yeah, but Jeremiah Johnson's going to be just an incredible defensive coordinator for us guys. I'm pretty sure he's going to get the job. It's been openly reported on several places that he has made pretty much the hire. Will probably be the hire after the Louisiana Tech's bowl game. I saw it on 247 is where I saw that. So I want to make sure they get their credit. 247 Sports, make sure they get their credit. That's where I saw that first. So I'm assuming that they know what they're talking about there and that Jeremiah Johnson will be the guy, right? I saw this the other day, but reporting it again now. So, yeah. Up next, guys, on Locked On West Virginia, I'll give you my final thoughts. Will we see anybody going out? And will we possibly seeing some players come in? That's an important question. Let's talk about it next on Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by, what am I looking for here? TNT, the College Football Playoff, guys, which is obviously important to a lot of us right now. It's that time of year. The College Football Playoff is back, and with the newly expanded 12-team format, it's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever, bringing you all the hard-hitting and high-flying excitement that you love. TNT Sports coverage of the College Football Playoffs begins December 21st, starting with the College Football Playoff show, presented on AT&T at 11 a.m. Eastern, leading us into our first matchup, SMU battling Penn State at noon. The Clemson Tigers then look to upset Texas Longhorns at 4 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss a moment of the action and watch the College Football Playoff presented by Allstate live on TNT, True TV, TBS, and Max. All right, guys, we are back. This is Locked On West Virginia. Thank you very much for your support, guys. If you could do me a favor, before we go this evening, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and drop a comment below. Whether you agree, disagree with anything I said. And then lastly, if I don't ever ask really for any money, if you could share the video, whether that's copying, pasting the www where you type that up, copy and paste that link, or just hit share and copy that to Facebook, X, wherever you go. I would really appreciate that. That's the best way to help me. And this is what I do for a living. So I appreciate that, guys. Other than that, not a lot else to talk about. I think we're going to talk about some portal entries here in the next couple of days. There's a few guys from Jacksonville State we're going to be looking at, obviously. One of those guys got hurt today, and so I'm waiting to see word. I'm looking at my phone right now to see just how he's doing. He still hasn't messaged me back, and we were talking very, very steadily. Fred Davis from Jacksonville State. I don't know what's going to happen with him. There's a couple others, a kid from South Alabama that's supposed to be visiting. Couple say there's a tight end from Kennesaw State, and a few others, guys. So there are a few people coming in, but nobody I would call just like absolutely noteworthy yet. So as those guys come in, we'll keep them updated here. Stick around for that. I'll see you then. Thanks for joining, guys. It's going to be okay. We're going to get some news over the break, at least during Christmas, and Richrod's going to get this staff put together. I had to tell myself that because, look, I was in a couple chats today where I was getting riddled because I was a little freaking out a little bit until I figured out that the movement doesn't stop. It's just the portal closes. That helped me a lot because I thought, well, we're not going to add anybody and the staff's not put together. So even I, who follow this 24/7 a day, 24/7 every day, can make mistakes, right? So hope you enjoyed the show, guys. I will see you tomorrow on Locked On West Virginia. We do this 7 days a week. I'll update you on more portal stuff, more coaching hires, and more Richrod every day right here on Locked On West Virginia. This episode's over, guys. Have a great weekend, and I'm out.